Chapter 3. Teachers, the major players in the education process. Presented by Javisha and Michelle. Have you ever noticed that we as educators and school leaders tend to worry about who students are? We come up with many claims to explain why students cannot learn or why we can or cannot have an effect on students' learning. We make claims about their learning styles, attitudes, love or not of schooling, their families and backgrounds, and their cultures. Sometimes we even suggest their right or left brain strengths or weaknesses, lack of motivation, refusal to do homework, or take medication are possible reasons why students cannot learn. Although, according to Hattie, the largest source of variance in learning outcomes is attributable to students, are these explanations of background factors sufficient enough to suggest that we stop at what students can or cannot do? These explanations can be right or wrong. However, at the core of such deficit thinking is the belief that we as educators cannot change the student. Because of this, Hattie suggests that it is imperative that we consider ourselves positive change agents for students. Most students are initially enthusiastic about the learning experience, awaiting the challenge that accompanies it. However, the greatest influence on student achievement is teachers' beliefs and commitments. Fortunately, we can have some control over this. That is, these beliefs and commitments. Have you also noticed that we tend to worry about what teachers do? You may be familiar with statements such as, "It is teachers who make the difference." Hattie argues that there are just as many teacher influences below the effect size of 0.40 as there are above, and variance that is attributable to teacher effects tends to occur more within a school than between schools. Did you know that a student in a high-impact teacher's classroom has almost a year's advantage over his or her peers in a lower-effect teacher's classroom? There is an effect of about 0.25 when comparing high-effect teachers to low-effect teachers. Hattie claims that the difference between high-effect and low-effect teachers are associated with the attitudes and expectations of teachers when determining the important issues of teaching, such as what should be taught and at what level of difficulty, as well as their understandings of progress and the effects of their teaching. Passionate and inspired teachers are the ones who truly make a difference. While at the University of North Carolina, Hattie conducted research with others on the technical issues relating to the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards, abbreviated as MBPTS. On the MBPTS website, it states that their mission is to advance student learning and achievement by establishing the definitive standards and systems for certifying accomplished educators, providing programs and advocating policies that support excellence in teaching, and leading and engaging National Board certified teachers and leaders in that process. If you are all interested in learning more about the MBPTS, you can also check out their website. Hattie described his time spent researching at the University of North Carolina as exciting. In the words of Hattie on page 27, there were breakthroughs in performance assessment and education, the development of scoring rubrics, and the psychometrics relating to issues that truly changed our way of looking at teachers, classrooms, and identification of excellence. During this period of time, Hattie and a colleague reviewed literature on the characteristics that distinguish expert teachers from experienced teachers. Their findings were sent to the field's most notable researchers, as well as expert teachers for feedback. As a result, 5 important dimensions of excellent or expert teachers were identified. First, expert teachers understand and are highly knowledgeable of the subjects that they teach their students. Second, they can guide learning to desirable surface and deep outcomes. Third, expert teachers can successfully monitor learning and provide feedback that assists students to progress. Fourth, they can attend to more attitudinal attributes of learning. Lastly, they can provide defensible evidence of positive impacts of the teaching on student learning. In this course, we completed the Program Influence Questionnaire and reviewed 30 questions and rated them as having a low, medium, or high impact on student achievement. In particular, one of the questionnaires items revealed that teachers' subject matter knowledge has a low impact on achievement. This is because it is more about how teachers see the surface and the deeper understandings of the subjects that they teach. Did you know that expert and experienced teachers do not differ in the amount of knowledge that they have about curriculum matters or teaching strategies? However, expert teachers do differ in how they organize and use this content knowledge. Their knowledge tends to be more integrated, combining new subject knowledge with students' prior knowledge. They also can relate current lesson content to other subjects in the curriculum and alter lessons to make them their own and meet their students' needs as well as their own teaching goals. Expert teachers passionately believe that their students can learn the content intended to be learned. Trust is the key to achieving an optimal classroom climate for learning. This trust is between teacher and student and between student and student. And this classroom climate also welcomes mistakes. The identification of mistakes and disbanding of previous ideas may be necessary for a student to take on new understandings. However, students often do not like to expose their mistakes because of their peers. As we all may know, children can be cruel. Hattie describes these particular peers as nasty, brutal, and viral. Nevertheless, expert teachers can create a climate that welcomes mistakes, is full of trust, and in which learning is cool and worth engaging in. Expert teachers must be excellent seekers and users of feedback information, specifically feedback about the effect that they are having on learning. In addition, on page 30, Hattie notes that expert teachers are skilled at monitoring the current status of student understanding and the progress of learning towards the success criteria, and they seek and provide feedback geared to the current understandings of the students. Moreover, their information gathering and responsiveness to students not only allows them to monitor the progress of their students, but allows for the development and testing of hypotheses in regards to the effect of their teaching, which can certainly result in improvements. Although there is evidence which reveals that intelligence may be stable, it is expected for teachers to believe that intelligence is actually changeable. This means teachers must highly respect students and passionately strive to help students attain success. Students must visibly see teachers interacting with students, respecting them as learners and individuals, responding to their needs, and demonstrating care and commitment. Expert teachers must demonstrate a sense of responsibility in the learning process as they passionately and effectively find ways to reach their students and ensure that their students are learning.
Section E talks about how expert teachers influence surface and deep student outcomes. This is not just about the test scores. In this environment, students make an investment in learning. Students develop deep surface and conceptual understandings. They must develop multiple learning strategies and are willing to take risks. Students develop into citizens who have challenging minds and the disposition to become active, competent, and thoughtfully critical participants in our complex world. The teachers must set challenging goals. This goes beyond the do your best goals that sometimes we offer them. How do expert teachers differ from experienced teachers in these 5 previous dimensions? There was a study that compared National Board Certified Teachers, or NBC teachers, these are our expert teachers, with teachers who applied for but did not become National Board Certified Teachers, and these are the experienced teachers. The study found that the more accomplished teachers set tasks that had a greater degree of challenge. They were more sensitive to the context and had a deeper understanding of the content being taught. There were little differences in surface level achievement outcomes, but major differences in the surface and deep understandings. Students of expert teachers are much more adept at deep as well as surface understanding. It is probably most important to note that expert teachers do differ from experienced teachers, particularly in the degree of challenge that they present to students and in the depth to which students learn to process information. Steele developed the term inspired teaching and talks about inspired teachers. What is noted is that inspired teachers believe that they are personally responsible for student learning. Also, they do not use grading as punishment. They do not conflate behavioral and academic performance. They do not excessively use worksheets. And they do not prefer perfection in homework over risk-taking that involves mistakes.